Well,
but King Faisal have applied for contempt.
The General Secretary of the FA is a lawyer.
So King Faisal through Alhaji Gusa, bankroll of King Faisal, filed for an injunction. Right, Zando? They appeared for the first hearing. Then
the case was postponed. Adjourned
to the 12th of October.
And within that space, Judge Afi also has applied.
So that's what I want to take it from. Now, so there are a lot of people that are saying that there are issues with the election. But yesterday, I tried to make some calls. And I tried to speak to a couple of lawyers to ask, what's the difference between an injunction application and an injuncted election? Apparently, there are two different things.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, there is nothing absolutely wrong. And if any lawyer wants to injunct an election and knows the time for the election, they should have probably done it earlier so that the case would have been heard earlier. Then they'll prevent them from going on with the election. So the GFA went on with the election, knowing at the back of their head that yes, there is an application for an injunction, but it is on the applicants to have had that injunction hearing heard, and then probably heard it, won it at the time so that the election will be injuncted. So they went on with that. But mind you, there was no electoral commission there. There was no Ghana police. The Minister of Sports wasn't there because they were all served. But the GFA believes strongly that legally they stood at a strong place and that they can argue, especially based on the fact that on the 25th of October, their mandate for the previous tenure would have expired.
So maybe that is basically the reason why.
Yeah. So maybe that's and that's why I think that's how I think legally they will argue their points out.
So maybe after 25th,
yes, there wouldn't have been any GFA.
Yeah.
And other bodies would have come in. So we have to go on with it. But we come back to it.
But Fiifi, yeah. Granted, they had applied for injunction on the election. Yeah. They had not secured the injunction yet. The case was going to be heard on 12th October 2023. Now you have gone ahead to organize the very event some people want to put an injunction on. The other time I was listening to Samson Ladian in Esquire, lawyer, Multimedia Group Limited. You know, the Occupy Julobi House protest. The police had applied for injunction, right? Something like that. And something was like, if his client gets served notice of injunction application, he will not advise his client to go ahead and organize such a competition or such an event.
That's what Fiifi is saying. So Fiifi is saying
let me say myself.
Because look, the very event people want to put an injunction on, you have gone ahead with the event. So what is really there to be heard on the 12th of October?
I think this is based on lawyer to lawyer. Samson, very experienced. He believes that lawyer. He will tell his client not to do that. There are also some lawyers that will tell you that they believe that if you wanted to get there, especially now that this injunction is time-based. So I think this is slightly different from the Occupy Jolobi House one. Now this is time-based, where the time where the main election was supposed to come over and the time where the tenure would have happened is in question. So maybe their lawyers, Prosper Senado, Amanda, now the following the likes, says, you know what, it is time-based, we can argue this out, so let's go on with the election. And I know that in courts, they look at the public opinion interest, and that's the most important thing. So if they can quash the election when they hear the injunction petition on the 12th, then they would go ahead and move a certain motion to probably go on to quash this election that has gone on. So I don't think there should be a worry. Now, my bigger worry is not from the legal point of view. My worry is from the corporate governance point of view. The kind of image is sent out. So you listen to Dela when he spoke about the GFA election. He says that, it looks as if they're in a hurry. Like they want to get it done.
They are sensing danger ahead.
And again, I alluded to that. Have you also alluded to that on the 25th of October, their tenure is coming to an end, and it looks as if they are scared that they are going to lose it, so they are getting it done. Now, some people also argue that they are defying legal minds to say that okay, fine, there is an application for an injunction. So it is the posture the GFA gets in the corporate world. It is the posture it gets outside. In terms of a legal, in terms of a corporate entity, if you say you want to run our football in a corporate entity, in a corporate governance structure, then sometimes you need to adhere to certain things strictly. And that's where my worry is. So my worry is not from the legal point of view. It is from the image that a GFA gets outside. in some of these things, in terms of attracting sponsorship, in terms of openness in the GFA, in terms of all inclusiveness that we want in corporate bodies. All of these things are my worry. My worries are not a legal point of view. Okay. So that's a slight issue. Okay. Then I go straight into the conversation of, it looks as if we say this every time, but that's the truth. The football people, in no uncertain terms, unequivocally, have told all of us that Kurt Ihezuo is their man.
He's the best.
Yes.
According to the delegates.
Yes.
Those who matter.
Yes. So I don't want anybody to ask me if Kurt has overachieved or not. Whether he has overachieved or not, those that he works directly with say that. My job is to eat around that and make sense of the things that's going on. And that's what I've said. That essentially my bigger worry with the GFA election is the image is sent out from Ghana football to the corporate society. Not just here, but outside. Okay. Legally, the legal people will argue on the 12th of October. From a layman's perspective, an injunction application is for an injunction petition, an injuncted election. So there are two separate scenarios. Yes, the legal minds will argue it out. People will talk about whatever they want to say. But essentially, there was nothing stopping them from going to the election. They went to the election. But it is the image that it puts across out there that's a big deal for me. And I think in Kurt's second tenure, if he goes on with it, that's going to be the bigger thing. There is a big... Sando, I've said it several times everywhere. That for me, the GFA is the most unpopular brand, or one of the most unpopular brands in this country. They are so unpopular. And I think that the bigger job for Mr. Kurt Ihezuo and his people is to, if they say they want to bring back the love, they should bring back the love to themselves first and to the local league. They should get people to find a way for people to trust what they are doing.
And that was the first step he took.
Yes, because there's exactly, it makes sense. Because
when he apologized to those he may have offended in the past.
Because there's a lot
of for unity.
Yes, there's a lot of mistrust. I think that Mr. Kurt Ihezuo may have brilliant ideas. I think that he has made some good strides in his job. My bigger problem with him as a person and as a president has been his posture with a lot of things.
Okay.
I think he's sometimes too political, too skewed from the political point of view for me.
Especially in the public domain.
Yes, especially
he's not supposed to do that.
Exactly. I think that it's football. Sometimes you need to be more inclusive.
A bit flexible.
And football is very emotional.
Yeah.
In fact, much more emotional than politics, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You need, sometimes somebody's wrong, but how you put things across to them is very important. Yeah. And that's my problem with this GFA and him. But essentially, if he's able to court that, if he's able to get that done, if he's able to carve a niche where he's able to get people to trust in the things that he does by being very open and then being inclusive in the things that he does, I'm sure that maybe by the time the 4 years is up, we will not be where we are, because a lot of the court stuff will not be enough for us. And we also heard yesterday that CAS have received the Georgia Free's application over there. So they will look through it. But we also heard Mr. Amaju Pinnick was appointed to come and speak to them so that they can settle out of all of those, out of CAS and all of that. We don't know if... Were
you expecting that Georgia Free comment? The fact that, I mean, what does it indicate in the first place? The fact that Kurt Ihezuo wants to bring on board Georgia Free?
He has. At least, and I think that is much more political than anything. I don't think he essentially wants to bring him in. I think he's doing...
playing to the gallery, like he wants to satisfy those sitting on the fence. Like, look, I mean, I am a reformed person. I have now changed. And I want to work with my enemies in quotes.
Yeah, so that is Kurt being Kurt. He had to tell people that, you know what, we need you to come on board to help us.
Okay.
But it goes beyond that. It goes beyond you just telling Georgia Free to come back to football.
Okay.
I think that it's about how you treat Georgia Free.
Okay.
And you see, Zando, I have a big problem.
Let's begin to wrap up.
Yeah, I'm wrapping up. I have a big problem. I had this conversation with Della that we sit in a country here